It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the South region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors South.
Hi everyone, welcome into our show. One of the questions that we get asked most often on our website, our Facebook page, Twitter feed, via email is, how do I catch fish in muddy water conditions? You know, we've had a lot of rain in the last few weeks around much of our south and southwest regions, and that's created some really murky or even muddy water conditions. On today's show, I'm going to spend some time talking you through some of the techniques, some of the gear that you'll need to successfully find and catch, particularly bass, in muddy water conditions. Now, I found a lake that's pretty dang murky. This lake has received a lot of water lately. It's got about 6-inch visibility. It's cloudy and overcast right now, so you really can't see that. But we're going to employ some of these techniques, show you how to catch them on your favorite lake, river, stream. In between all of that, we're taking you around your local region for your fishing reports from your local lakes, rivers, and bays from our expert team of insider reporters. It's going to be a lot of fun. Stay with us right now. Let's get this thing started back at the FSN studios. Here's your weekend planner.
You're going to like what the Salooner tables are forecasting for game fish activity this weekend. Saturday's conditions are predicted to be some of the best of the month, with peak times beginning at 10:53 in the morning. Sunday is listed as excellent, with the best opportunities happening around noon and again at midnight. The sun will rise at 6:12 and set at 8:38. And if you like night fishing, the news gets even better because we'll have a full moon on Saturday. Stay with us for all of your fishing updates from around the Southeast. And I'll return with elite angler Keith Combs for the Ask the Pro feature. Back in a bit.
Oh, I got one. Whoa, that feels like a good pull right there. Man, trying a new rod and reel today for the first time, a little combo. I'll show it to you later on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature. It's doing a good job so far. Got Stren's 17-pound original line on here. It's acting like it's something other than a bass. Oh, what is that? Oh, it's a catfish. Oh, shit. I have a real problem here. Fish has buried this hook past the barb. So I've got a hook in my finger, buried past the barb, but I got a big catfish on here. So what we're gonna have to do is, we're showing this fish here, but we're gonna turn the camera off and I'm gonna see if I can get this hook out of my finger, and then we'll turn this fish back and see if we can get things going again. Stay with us, got a little problem here. We'll be back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Costa Sunglasses. See what's out there. By Lew's, setting a new standard in fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Strike King Lures, #1 in fishing. By Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
There, got one. No monster, but something to get it going. Come aboard. Come aboard, you rascal, you. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors today. Since you've seen me last, things have taken a little unplanned detour. There's a good bass for you right there. How about that? Nice little largemouth. And back he goes. Here's the detour. That. The hook you saw me get embedded in my hand actually caused a trip to the emergency room. Why? Because it buried it so deep that it actually got right down and went right in next to the bone. So we had to do a little surgery. We had to get a orthopedic doctor in there and do a little surgery and a little cutting and all that kind of thing, but we got it taken care of. And I learned a couple of 3 quick valuable lessons. #1, I'm going to start using a net a lot more. I tried to hand over hand that fish in the boat, and that was the wrong thing to do. Secondly, if you do find yourself with a hook embedded, don't be too quick to try to get it out. I was about to use the monofilament line popping technique that got so popular on YouTube, but I'm glad I didn't, because I really could have messed some things up with it embedded that deeply. And thirdly, but I cut this hook off with as much of the shank of that hook still attached as I possibly could. If I had cut it off way down here, the doctor wouldn't have had anything to work with. So I left him as much room as I possibly could and cut that hook off just below the eye with a pair of wire cutters, and saved myself some additional heartache at the ER. All right, let's get back to what we were talking about though, the important stuff. Every good preacher's got 3 good points to his sermon. Our points are: go big, go loud, and go bright or go dark. Let's first talk about go big. You want to use a big profile bait. Why? That water's dark, it's murky. You want to use the largest bait possible. That's a big crankbait, it's almost 3 inches long. There's a little normal size crankbait that's about 2 inches. So you want to stay with that bigger profile, bigger shadow moving through the water, bigger size. A big, shadowy, dark spinnerbait will work real well, but that's a large size. That's about almost a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait right there, and a big plastic worm, and I'm going to show you a big 10, 12-inch plastic worm later. Go big, create a big profile in the water, something large for those fish to home in on. Your chances dramatically increase of getting bit. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports to get this show started right now. Let's get you to Tennessee and Kentucky with Crispin Powell.
Hey guys, I'm going to try to get you this Tennessee and Kentucky report before that cloud gets here. First off, let me tell you real quick, Saturday, August the 9th, we're having a benefit tournament out of Paris Landing on Kentucky Lake. Go to Facebook, go to Friends of Jason Sane, see what you can do to get involved. This is a really great cause for a super guy. Now let's talk fishing. The hottest thing right now, the striper bite on Lake Cumberland in Kentucky. From dark 30 until about 30 minutes to an hour after good and daylight, a really good live bait bite going on. You can catch bait pretty plentifully, no problem, but on the lower end of the lake, the striper bite's really good. The nighttime bite for bass, really hot. Dale Hollow, Center Hill, Percy Priest are the hottest nighttime bites going. Aside from that, the crappie fishing on the Tennessee River is really good. Offshore spider rigging and trolling crankbaits over offshore structure in deep water. Aside from that, the bass fishing. From Douglas Lake in East Tennessee to Chickamauga to Kentucky Lake, bass fishing is really good. Work with the generation schedules and fish, heavy jigs in the current, deep crankbaits like a 6 or a 10 XD from Strike King, and just use your electronics, find the fish. They're ganged up, they're offshore, and they're really, really biting. Guys, be safe. Don't play with the heat right now. This time of year it gets really hot, so just be real safe on the water. Guys, we'd love to see you in Tennessee and Kentucky. God bless.
Oh, there's one. Nice jump right there. Come up here, baby. See, this water's muddy and there's actually water still flowing in over the low water dam right there. It's a good bass. Man, got a mouthful of crankbait. There we go. All right, there's your good bass right there. Welcome back, everybody, to Fox Sports Outdoors. We're talking today about, find my pliers here real quick, how to catch muddy or murky water bass. That fish right there is going to require a little surgery, and I've already had one operation today, so I really don't want another one. There's your good bass right there. Man, he's still strong. Stop it. Stop fighting so much. Good night. Let's get him back. Hurry, hurry. Okay, now that we're rid of that bucking bronco, let's talk about the second principle for catching bass in murky or muddy water conditions. We talked about going big. Secondly, let's talk about going loud. You want to create a lot of movement and vibration in the water column. You do that by using a crankbait that's, number one, big in size, but number two, has a big wide bill. That's that Strike King 2.5 KVD square bill crankbait. And as you can see, it's got a big wide bill on it there. It wobbles back and forth in the water, and every time it wobbles, it creates a pulse in the water column. The other way you can do it's with a big spinnerbait. Now, this spinnerbait is the Strike King tour grade spinnerbait. It's got a big flashy or a big chartreuse painted blade. But what I did was I cut the Colorado blade in front of it off. You want a single blade to create the most vibration in the water. It's like a tire on your car that's out of balance, and it just rotates and goes whomp, 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 and every time it rotates, puts off a pulse or a vibration in the water. The bass can home in and sense that even in the muddiest water conditions. That's how they feed at night as well. So go big. Secondly, go loud. Put off a lot of vibration in the water. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports.
This week's coverage is sponsored by Albany, Georgia's Flint River Aquarium. The River Aquarium is an interactive journey through the underwater world of the Flint River. Peer into a blue hole with 120 species of fish, alligators, and turtles. Catch a nature film, see the aviary, and enjoy hands-on activities for the whole family. The blazing heat of summer is now upon us, and this slows down some fishing, but there are other options that are still good. Catfish action is heating up on North Alabama's Wheeler Lake. This Tennessee River reservoir is the second largest in the state, and the impoundment stretches for 30 miles along the river. Wheeler is noted for giving up huge blue cats in July. In fact, it produced a former world record fish that weighed 111 pounds. 60 and 70 pounders turn up regularly here. These fish are on the move in July, and they're in 15 to 50 feet of water. They don't relate to structure, so your best option is to drift the old river channel, fishing the edge with shad or skipjack as bait. Now in Georgia, you can beat the heat by heading north to the Chattahoochee National Forest. This 750,000 acre tract is laced with streams that are full of rainbow trout. These are stocked and wild fish. For the stockers, head to Cooper Creek near Dahlonega or the West Fork of the Chattooga River near Clayton. If you're after wild fish, try the Conasauga or Jacks River in the Cohutta Wilderness area in the northwest corner of the state. In northeast Mississippi, the cool, deep waters of Pickwick Lake are giving up smallmouths right now.
I'm going to show you one of the most effective rigs for bass fishing on a public fishing area. This rig is extremely versatile. You can fish it from shallow to deep in all kinds of cover, because when we get done, it'll be weedless. It's called a Texas rig. The components that it uses are a worm weight, a bead, and a worm hook. And this worm hook has a little bend that holds the worm in place and keeps it from sliding down the shank. And then of course a plastic worm. Take the worm weight, thread our line through the worm weight, and it'll slide up and down. Then thread it through a bead, and the reason we have the bead there is to protect your knot, so that this worm weight isn't beating against the knot. It protects the knot and keeps it stronger. Then we'll thread on a worm hook, tie a regular improved clinch knot 5 times over, go through the loop, and then you've just made a loop, so come back through that loop, wet it, cinch it down, clip your tag end right there. And then to rig this worm, what you do is you want to come down, you want to stay on that seam. When you look at a plastic worm, generally there's a seam, and it'll usually run better if you either come out on that seam or the other side. So what you do is you'll go in, put your worm hook in about 1/4 inch and come out on the seam like that, and then you'll slide the worm up and turn it over, because what this will do, it'll keep the worm weedless, and that's how you want that hook to be in the worm once you're finished rigging it. So you'll back the hook up. First of all, lay it in place so you can see where it needs to be. Then back the hook up, stick the hook in the worm, and what I do is move it back and forth a couple times so that it's not real tight, because you've got to drive that hook through this worm when the fish bites. And that's a rigged Texas rig. What'll happen is you cast out and that worm weight will come through grass and hangs, and your hook, as long as it's buried in the worm, will be weedless. So that's it.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. By Motor Guide, trolling motors engineered for anglers. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Welcome to the big leagues.
Bass right there. I got one. Boy, he hammered it right after it hit the water. Nice jump. Wow, what an acrobat. He nearly jumped in the boat right there. There we go, I got him. All right, how about that for a good bass right there? Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Outdoors, talking about your 3 principles today for catching bass in murky or muddy water conditions. If I get up here to you, I'll show you that bass, number 1. There you go. So that's a great bass right there, and kind of a skinny looking fish. We'll let him go back. All right, let's talk about your third principle for catching bass in murky or muddy water conditions. Let's talk color a little bit. Talked about going big, we talked about going loud. Let's talk about going either real bright or real dark, but nowhere in between. So you want to go with a real bright chartreuse type of a color. There's a bright chartreuse, a bright green, a bright orange will work, and fluorescents work best. Now the other thing you can do is go to the complete opposite end of the spectrum, and that bass hit a plastic worm, but it's a real dark one. As you can see, that's a real dark Tequila Sunrise or purple color. You can use blacks, browns, grays, anything in that dark spectrum works real well. But you want to stay on the far opposite contrast of the color spectrum. Don't go in the middle. Stay away from watermelon, pumpkin, your little pinks, your whites, all of those colors in the middle. Stay away from those in muddy or murky water. Either go really dark, really bright, nowhere in between. Hey, let's get you some more fishing and lake reports from your local lakes, rivers, and bays.
This part of the program is brought to you by Egret Baits, makers of the new Voodoo Shrimp. That Voodoo Shrimp is so realistic, every time I see one, I want to take a bite out of it. So put a Voodoo Shrimp where the fish are, and they'll take care of the rest. For summer fishing has really kicked into gear, and some of the best fishing of the year is going on for spotted sea trout. Much of that fishing is going on very early mornings. You've got to be out there just right at daylight or a little bit before. And the fish are in shallow water around where there's current and bait. Over in Alabama, the fishing has been outstanding in lower Mobile Bay and along the barrier islands to the west over in the Mississippi area. Early in the morning, you got to be fishing topwater plugs because that's how the big trout really want. They want those swimming topwater baits like Zara Spooks and Top Dogs. Some of the badonkadonk baits also are very good early in the morning when they're swimming across the surface in a zigzag motion. That zigzag retrieve that some of these baits have, the fish just go wild for them. As the sun gets up, you've got to drop your baits down a little bit. A subsurface bait often produces more fish than a topwater plugs early in the morning. And as the sun continues to rise, you need to get those baits even lower still, turning to jigs. Some of those jigs are just great fish underneath the popping cork, like the new Voodoo rattling cork, which has a little bit of rattle to it. The fish hear that clicking, which sounds like a shrimp. They're drawn to it and they hit that jig below it. Over in Mississippi offshore, the tuna fishing has been very good around the Horn Mountain rig for blackfins and yellowfins up to 50 pounds. Some dolphin also are being caught around the weed edges. The full moon is July 12th, that's just a couple of days, and that can make for some tough fishing in Georgia inshore for those real big tides. Some of those tides can have a differential of up to 9 feet, and it really can mess up the inshore fishing. So for this coming weekend, you might want to be looking at more offshore fishing along the coast of Georgia. The reefs offshore have been excellent for spade fish. There's some king mackerel around, a lot of Spanish mackerel. Triggerfish are a little deeper, and there's also some cobia that are still around. So get out there in the water, and when you go, please take a youngster fishing with you.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Mercury Marine, celebrating 75 years of marine excellence. By Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability. And by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro feature, where viewers get expert insight from professional anglers. This week's question comes from Steven, who asks, what is the one must-have bait? For the answer, we checked with Bassmaster Elite Angler Keith Combs.
When all else fails, the lure that I go to is a Strike King KVD 1.5 in Tennessee shad. I don't know what it is about that bait. It's one that I can cover a lot of water with. I can pick it up and just go down a riprap bank. I can go down a grass line. You know, I can catch them in a lot of different scenarios. But that is one bait that I can flat put them in the boat with, and it catches big ones. So KVD 1.5 Tennessee shad is my #1 go-to color.
Thanks, Keith. If you have something to ask one of the pros, go to our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now let's see who wins a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
This week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest is Joshua Thacker of Montevallo, Alabama. He's showing a 40-inch muskie he caught out of the Detroit River right in Detroit, Michigan while he was on vacation. If you would like to enter our Costa Catch of the Week contest and have a chance to win a brand new pair of sunglasses, all you have to do is go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, On the right-hand side of the front page is the Costa Catch of the Week box. Click in there, follow the instructions, send us your photo, and you could win your very own free pair. And if you want to see all the Costa frame and lens styles, go back to the front page of the website, click on the Costa logo, and you can see all of the frames and lenses, including the frames I was wearing this week called Cabalito. This week on the Academy Sports and Outdoors Right Stuff feature, I'm very excited about a brand new rod and reel combo set just introduced to the market by the folks at Lew's. It's the American Hero rod and reel combos. These are factory matched rods and reels that come together in one package. Get this, this is the high-end American Hero rod and reel set, and they're available in the bait casting models for well under $100, and the spinning combos are available for around $60 to $70. Amazing value, factory matched rod and reel combo, and again, a proceed from all of these American Hero rod and reel purchases go to help take some of our returning veterans fishing. What a great cause. Just a few days ago, I went to the dermatologist and he had to cut and burn off several places around my face and arms, hands, and those types of things. That comes from years spent outdoors. And that's with all of the safeguards. Every time I go fishing, you see me wearing long sleeves, long pants. I cover myself well in 100 SPF sunscreen. I wear a hat, I wear sunglasses. I try to get all the protection from the sun that I possibly can. But you know what? Everybody gets to choose what they want to do. I know somebody who guides for a living, fishes every day of his life, has never used sunscreen one time. I also know the gentleman who was involved in inventing the very first sunscreen ever introduced to the market. Our own Gary Dollahan, our Oklahoma insider reporter, was with the company that originally introduced sunscreen to the fishing market. I choose to use all the protection I possibly can. I highly recommend that you do that because I can promise you that there are consequences to pay if you don't. One little word of wisdom to the wise. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode teaching you some keys, some tips and techniques on how to catch bass the next time your local lake or river muddies up from the influx of rain. Go big, go loud, go dark or bright, and you will increase your chances of catching more bass. Hey, I hope you'll watch our show next week. We'll be on Thursday at 6 p.m. with the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. Be sure and catch our Twitter feed. We put lots of photos, videos, all the latest on our Twitter feed at the address on your screen. If you want to see all of our past episodes, we've simplified that. Go right to the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. You'll see the latest episode 24/7 right on the front page, and right under that, you'll see a link to all of our past episodes. You can always catch up right on our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all. How about that?